Already this year, we've had 33 traffic fatalities as compared to 14 at the same time last year. That number is very alarming. The things that we are seeing is a high number of motorcycle riders who have been killed in collisions, as well as pedestrians. For pedestrians, the concerning thing is we're seeing a lot of people crossing outside of marked crosswalks, crossing against the red palm, and in some cases, they were actually walking in the lane of traffic. Very dangerous, and it doesn't give drivers enough time to react, right? Not expecting to see a pedestrian in the middle of the roadway, right? So that's very alarming. And then the other side for the motorcycle riders, speed has been a common factor, as is not wearing a helmet. We know helmets save lives. So anytime you're traveling higher than the posted speed limit, it's going to give you less time to avoid a traffic hazard, less time to avoid another driver or anything that could potentially get you into a collision. To avoid getting in a collision altogether, there's some really simple things you can do, right? So first off is always obey traffic laws, right? So whether it's a red light, stop sign, just following lane markings, basic things like that. But most importantly, obey the speed limit, right? Slow down, plan ahead, leave a little early, right? That way you don't have to speed. But, ultimately, slowing down is going to give you more time to react to any type of a traffic hazard or anything that's going to happen unexpectedly. The second thing you can do is stay focused on the road, right? We don't want drivers to be distracted. And a lot of people only think of their cell phone as a distraction, but there are a lot of distractions, right? So if you break down what distractions are, you've got three categories. Ironically, they have the same acronym as motor vehicle collision, MVC. So M, manual. So that's anything that you're going to take your hands off of the wheel. That could be manipulating your cell phone, but it could also be eating, brushing your hair. We've seen people shaving, right, putting on makeup, things like that. Like that's a bad distraction. The second one is visual. That's anything that's going to take your eyes off of the roadway and off of your lane of travel. And that could be something as simple as making eye contact with your passenger. So we want to avoid that as well. And the last one is cognitive, right? And cognitive is you're not really thinking about your travel. You're either thinking about the bad day you had at work, you're thinking about the phone conversation you're having, thinking about what kind of a text you're going to send back as a response. The cell phone is the deadliest of the distractions because it involves all three of those. So we really want to try and make sure people put away any type of distraction, focus on their travel. And then the last thing you can do, never get behind the wheel or operate any vehicle when you're impaired. Any amount of an intoxicant, it can impair your judgment, it can impair your ability to safely operate that vehicle. So we really want people to plan ahead. And if you wait until you celebrate, it's too late. The idea is in this day and age, you've got ride shares, you've got public transportation, you have so many things you can do to avoid getting behind the wheel or operating a vehicle when you're impaired. So we ask you to please plan ahead, get a designated driver, pre-order a ride share, do something to avoid that. You're going to save lives, not only yours, but other innocent people as well. Anytime you witness any type of a collision where one of the vehicles flees, we really rely on the community support. You can call 911, stay at the scene, be a good witness, help us out. The other suggestion would be getting yourself a dash cam. The vehicular homicide section and the patrol officers, when they're investigating, surveillance comes in very handy for us. But most importantly is witnesses, people who are willing to come forward, provide a statement, and help us to figure out what exactly happened and possibly help us identify a suspect. Yeah, so for witnesses, and actually I'll break this into two parts, right? So if you're involved in a collision, it's important to call 911 right away, right? Get the officers en route as quickly as you can. You can already start providing as much information, taking down notes, right? If the other vehicle fled, what do you remember about it? Because it's a very, it's upsetting, right? And people are emotional, right? And it's tragic, but, calm down, take a breath, write down what you can remember about the collision itself. Call 911 right away. And then if you're a witness to this, the things that could help us, license plate numbers, vehicle descriptions, anything that's identifiable about the vehicle, such as stickers, certain characteristics that are going to stand out about that vehicle, and specifically the driver, right? So who was operating the vehicle, if you can get a description of the driver as well. Best thing we could use is video that could help support that. And again, surveillance in the area is helpful, and the recommendation would be get yourself a dash cam. Yeah, so we always work with our lawmakers. We work with our traffic safety partners, whether that's the Department of Transportation Services, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, right? So we have a lot of traffic safety partners that we work with, and we work with our virtual unit to push out as much social media as we can, just trying to put out safety tips. So anytime that we can put out anything that's going to help educate drivers, motorists, pedestrians, we want to push that out just to kind of help raise awareness. Right. So even with, the recent story about the 100 deadliest days, while we may not see a significant increase in the teen fatalities over the summer, that doesn't mean we're not susceptible. So that's a good story, right? Something that's going to, grab your attention and make you think about traffic safety. And that kind of leads me into the whole graduation season, right? So we know graduations have already started. Now we're into the celebration part. It's a milestone. It's a momentous occasion. We should absolutely be celebrating. But do it responsibly, right? And this is a good opportunity for parents to have a sit down with their teens, their recent graduates, and talk about safety over the summer. Teen drivers, inexperienced, they're out on our roadways, right? Just reminding them about traffic safety and their responsibility, not just for themselves, but for everyone around them. We do have incidents where people are basically getting into altercations due to a traffic incident, right? So things that you can do to avoid it altogether, right? So there's some general traffic rules or rules of the road and just driver etiquette that you could do that could prevent that altercation from even occurring. First thing I would say is don't tailgate, right? Give yourself ample space between your vehicle and the vehicle that's in front of you. That's not just so that you're not creating anxiety for the driver in front of you, but it gives you an opportunity to avoid a collision should some road hazard come up quickly. All right. The second part I would say is slowing down, planning ahead so you're not in so much of a rush, and don't cut in at the last minute. Use your turn signals. Try to be predictable. Putting on your turn signal, waiting for the driver in the next lane to give you an opportunity to merge in. It's just good courtesy. And then when you do get let in, throw up a shaka, something to show that you're appreciative, right? It goes a long way. And, Hawaii is known for the aloha spirit. We're known for being compassionate to one another. And it's sad to see some of those social media posts coming up where people are resorting to road rage or just this anger. So it's just taking your time, right? Being compassionate, show a little grace when you're driving, right? And slow down, use your turn signals, and basically just follow traffic laws. Now, if you are yourself involved in an incident like that, first thing to do, call 911, right? Get an officer en route as quickly as you can. If there's any way to avoid the situation, avoiding eye contact, trying to leave the area, going in a different direction, those are also good tips. But anything you can do to avoid that altercation, right? Don't try to get into a one-up. Don't get into a verbal argument. A lot of those verbal arguments do escalate and lead to something physical.